right, Brian Reynolds, number 23 and 24 on the season. Bats, I think, he's roughly about 273, I think, right now. $100 million guy. I mean, it seems like the Pirates need to sign a few more guys like this, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they have to do this offseason, Richie. There's several areas where they're going to have to add. And honestly, if you look at what they spent last offseason, they had 8 players they brought in either via free agency or trade, spent $37.5 million on those guys. You don't need to add 8 players this offseason. I mean, the starting rotation is pretty much set. If you take $37 million and divvy it up between a premium bat, Andrew McCutchen, and a couple relievers, that premium bat should be the highest paid player on your team. Frankly, I mean, and they need to add. I don't know if it's first base, if it's the outfield. They're kind of flexible there. If it's the outfield, I think Brian Reynolds could probably play first and do it. But, yeah, they need to add offense to this team in a big way.
All right, so I guess the big question, Jason, with 2 games left, they have a chance to get to 76 wins, which ties them the record last year. But are you buying or selling this team right now? Are they legitimate contenders next year, or are they fakers?
I don't know, Richie. I mean, the million-dollar question right now is what Bob Nutting does with Derek Shelton and the rest of his staff. I would like to see them fire Derek Shelton and his staff. I like Derek Shelton personally, but I don't think this group is playing for him. I think they need a new voice. I think they need a new direction. I think this year was largely sour. It's not where they wanted to be. I think they're behind schedule. I don't think they're getting the most out of young players. I think they're realizing a lot of their weaknesses with development and how they bring guys along, how they're deploying their bullpen, how clean of a brand of baseball they're playing. And I don't see it coming from this group. But everything I understand about Bob Nutting's decision-making, it has not happened yet. He has not made any sort of determination. What Ben Cherington said earlier this month was merely him answering a question. So, I mean, yeah, I kind of like what they have in a way, Richie. I mean, the starting rotation is good. I think the bullpen can be good. They need to add some offensive pieces, but they have some stuff to build around. It's a matter of putting that all together, and they haven't been able to do that.
And this is why I agree with you. I like Derek Shelton, too. I'm not in that locker room as much as you are, not even close. I'm over the Steelers more than the Pirates. But I think they need a winning culture, someone that knows how to win and can show everyone that. That's what those guys did in, 12 and 13. And you look what happened to that team. They need that for this team.
A culture of accountability. That's missing. And, doing the little things right, playing small ball, situational at bats, fielding clean, running the bases well. That stuff isn't happening, and it's being allowed to happen. You can look at the in-game stuff, and I don't think that's been great, but it's more sort of the voice. They didn't exactly rally around Derek Shelton, would be a way I might put that. But, yeah, I mean, you need a guy to come in there and set the tone, probably a veteran manager, someone who's been there before, somebody who is not that they question him, but I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the heartbeat of the team. You follow it, and they don't have that right now.
Someone like Terry Francona would be a good manager in a situation like this, right? A winner.
Yes, I'd take Francona in a heartbeat. Does he want to do it? I mean, probably not with his health issues, but I'd make the call. There are other veteran guys out there. What's Joe Madden doing right now? There's a lot of veteran guys who have guided teams that I think the Pirates would really benefit from hearing from. But again, we don't know. There's no guarantee that Derek Shelton's back. He could be back. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying that decision in the next 4 or 5 days is going to be hugely important for the Pirates.
All right, and if that decision is made, is it going to come soon, you think, Jason, or is it going to be like a couple months away?
No, I'd be surprised if I don't think it's going to happen like once the final out is recorded, but like Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, I would expect to hear that, sure.
And Cherington, you think, is safe?
I do think Cherington stays, yes. I think that's – if you get rid of the GM, it's basically saying our entire plan stinks and we're starting over. And I don't think the Pirates want to do that. I don't even think the Pirates have to do that. No. I think they have enough there to compete. That's not an endorsement of his work. It hasn't been great. You look at their trades, free agent signing, etc. Not good enough, but I don't think Cherington goes.
But his hands are tied a little bit, too. I mean, it all starts at the top. All right, we're going to talk about the Steelers and take your phone calls coming up next. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our GMC Tweet of the Night. You can see this is from PFF College, highest passer rating in college football. This guy's going to be available next year, Jason. Drew Aller, Penn State, 145.5 right now. That's pretty good. In my mind, he's definitely going to be a top 10 pick, right?
Is he leaving school, Richie?
I don't know.
Kicking him out of Penn State.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. And he's been really good, man. But you know what? They have a big game Saturday against Illinois. He played West Virginia, played really well. I was at that game, but they've had kind of two patsies the bye week this past week. But what? Kent State and who's the other one?
Who knows?
Bowling
Who cares?
Green.
Yeah, I mean, they need to start playing Pitt.
Green.
They need to start. All these schools need to start playing each other. I want to see Pitt, Penn State play. None of these cupcakes. I don't want to see Youngstown State on Pitt's schedule anymore. I'm done with that. I know it was an impressive win, but that's what they're supposed to do against Youngstown State. I want to see these schools play each other. And if they lose, they lose. At least you're playing. You should get more points for losing to Penn State than beating Youngstown State by 60.
I agree with you. I hate that, man. I hate that. A win. And then everybody, does something else, right? It doesn't have the same vibe. If you have a college football team playing some patsy, you're like, we don't really have a game. And then you've got an extra bye week in there, and people lose focus. No, that's one thing I love about the NFL, man. It's every week. There's no breaks. There's no easy games. Even games you have against a team that's not so good. The Steelers and the Colts this weekend, for instance. If the Colts would win this game, would you be shocked? No. Anybody can beat anybody.
I would be shocked. And it's a good transition into the Steelers. I would be shocked. I think this is a making of a perfect win for the Steelers. It's a perfect type of matchup. I mean, hear me out. I'm not going to jinx them here, but they're good against the run. You're facing one of the best running backs in the NFL, but the Steelers are really good against the run. Second in the NFL, first in points allowed. It's a rookie quarterback. He's thrown 6 interceptions. The Steelers are really good against rookie quarterbacks. I like him in this game.
I know, I do too, Richie, and I'm going to take the Steelers to win. But don't say too much. You're going to jinx them. Can't talk like that.
All right, let's go out to Michael in Beaver Falls. How you doing, Michael?
Excellent. How you guys doing, gentlemen?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I predict the Steelers are going to win by 10 points. But remember, things can happen in football.
Yeah, they can.
I'm pretty sure things can happen in football. But I like I said, if they stick to protecting Mr. Fields in the pocket, I think it's going to do great, and the running game will be okay. And our defense is awesome, like I said last time. But you know what? I still believe we're going to win by 10, guys. Go Steelers!
Yeah, Michael, I have them winning by 10, too. I'll give you my prediction now. It's coming up on the pregame show, but 23-13. I like them to win in a fashion like that. This defense is dominant right now, and we all saw it, Jason. You know that. And I'm just trying to think of ways that they could lose this game.
Yeah, no,
I don't think it's going to be. It could be big plays, right? It could be turnovers by Justin Fields, but they're not going to allow that.
No, they're not. And they've actually been very smart with the game plan around Justin Fields. I like this a lot. This has been kind of a conversation topic this week, but Justin Fields was asked to do so much in Chicago, and the Steelers are smartly not asking him to do that. It's like every week he gets a couple more pages out of the playbook. I liked what they did last week, and if you think about it in context with the first 2 weeks, they're putting him in a position to succeed. And I would continue that game plan with the Colts. If you've got to ride Najee Harris, that's absolutely fine. Open up the middle of the field a little bit. But yes, rely on your defense. They should be able to shut down the Colts. The pressure the Steelers have been able to generate, I really like what they've done in the passing game. To be honest with you, Deshaun Elliott, Dante Jackson, I think they've found a really nice fit here in Pittsburgh. But I know I was giving you a hard time, Richard, but I don't see any way this defense can't carry it out.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough place to play. They lost there last year 30-13 against, Gardner Minshew and a backup running back. And it's a game that they needed to win, and but they lost that game. But they won the 8 prior games to that. So I like the matchup for the Steelers. I think this is coming at a good time. I agree with the caller, Michael, that they win by 10. All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. We got Scott out in Hershey. How you doing, Scott?
Hi, Richie. I wanted to talk about not just Bob Nutting, but the owners of the A's and White Sox. I think, in my honest opinion, the 2024 MLB season will go down as one of the worst seasons in years because of 2 factors. Oakland losing the A's to relocation, for which I feel really awful for their fans, and the White Sox breaking the 62 Mets record at 121 losses. When it comes to Bob Nutting, Jerry Reinsdorf, and Jerry Fisher, I think the worst sports owner that tops the list is Johnny Fisher. Do you guys agree on that?
Yeah, it's a really good call, Jason, and I've been saying it for years now, and I'm sure you agree. This is a Major League Baseball problem, and the Pirates are just following those guidelines and making it the best for them right now. But I agree. This is a Major League Baseball problem. The A's don't even have a place to play yet, right?
They're playing in Sacramento for the next 3 years, and then they're going to go to Vegas. I think it's going to work out just fine.
But the
for
Vegas
A's.
thing isn't done yet, right?
It's going to happen.
Okay.
I mean, they're building a palatial ballpark right on the Strip. I mean, come on. There's a lot of money there.
It's going to happen, but nothing is signed, sealed, and delivered. I get it. Yeah, it's just a bad situation.
Yeah, and I mean, you're exactly right, Richie, on the economics of Major League Baseball. They stink, and they allow for this, and it shouldn't allow for this. I mean, teams should be forced to spend a minimum amount of money. Teams should be prohibited from spending a maximum amount of money. I have a column running tomorrow morning. It's going to be in Sunday's paper talking about Bob Nutting and his ownership and what he needs to do. Again, it goes back to my earlier point of firing Derek Shelton and his staff, but I've looked at some of the numbers with Bob Nutting, and since he's owned the team, how much he's spent. Only the Marlins have spent fewer dollars on Major League players than the Pirates since 2007, meaning the Pirates have spent less money on players than the Oakland Athletics. I mean, take that for what it's worth. Like, it shouldn't be allowed. You should be forced to spend money. If you don't want to spend money on players, or if you can't spend money on players, give someone else a chance. Allow someone else to try. Maybe they fail too. But again, if you've done this for almost 20 years and you're not spending money, what are we doing here?
I know. We talk about this all the time. There's something fundamentally wrong with the organization when you have 28 losing seasons out of, what, 34?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's something wrong. That fans do not deserve that, and that's what I feel bad for. Look, we're both Pittsburgh guys. We grew up Pirates fans. We all deserve more.
Yeah, and it's not prohibitive. Like, you know, I know I'm talking about the money. It's not just money. Another thing that I looked at, Richie, was like how teams who spent similar amounts of money, how they fared. The Cleveland Guardians have done just fine in that time. The Tampa Bay Rays have done just fine. The Milwaukee Brewers have won. The Arizona Diamondbacks have won. Other teams have found a way to overcome the limited spending. Now, I understand, like, the odds are stacked against the Pirates. It stinks. Teams can outspend them. They have to be really good in other areas, and they haven't been really good in other areas, and that's infuriating for people. And, you know, you look at them and you say, oh, next year it's going to be okay, it's going to be better, we're going to ride this out. No, you can't. You cannot do this. Things are not good enough, in my opinion, to ride it out. The Pirates need to make drastic changes, but I know the conversation we're having is a little deeper.
Even St. Louis is about a similar size to Pittsburgh.
They spent way out.
Milwaukee spends more, and they're right in the same division. All right, let's go out to Matt out in Butler. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, guys.
Hey
Matt. Part of the problem is spending money, but part of the problem, just take one example, but we can go through 10. Draft number 1 overall, Henry Davis is a catcher. You tell me what goes wrong, because that is.
Yeah, I mean, that's a money thing too, right? I mean, he was the best hitter in college, right?
He was one of them. It was a draft strategy. And I also, I'm sorry, my mind's not made up that this is a terrible pick. I still think Henry Davis can be a pretty good ball player. I think this also speaks to their developmental problems. I'm not defending the Pirates by any stretch. I'm just saying I don't think we know what they have in that draft yet. And part of the reason they did that was that they were able to have the money left to overpay Bubba Chandler, and they felt like that was somebody they could get. They wanted to overpay Anthony Solometo, which at the time made a lot of sense. Now, he hasn't been developed appropriately, and right now he might look like a bust. But Chandler looks really good. And again, Henry Davis has a lot of talent. There's a lot of stuff there with Henry Davis that could work. Much like Jack Sawinski, other young players, they have not been able to complete their development at the major league level. The Pirates have run into issues with Henry Davis. I would really like to see what Henry looks like with an entirely new hitting group around him.
Yeah, I see both sides of that question that he just asked. You know, you can't take a guy 1-1 and make him a DH and not have a position for him, and you hoped he was going to be a catcher, and things just aren't working out right now. But he's
and Richie, let me make this point. If the draft, if he's saying the drafting hasn't been good enough with the Pirates, that's a completely fair criticism. I'll co-sign that.
All right, let's go out to John in Beaver Falls. How you doing, John?
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey, the Pirates, they don't want to spend the money on the right players, and then you just got to be talking about the draft.
John, I get what you're saying, John, about not spending the money, but Jason, you know, the last few years, I wouldn't spend money either while you're rebuilding.
Right.
But now is the time they better start spending money.
Yeah, they spent about $37 million this offseason on 8 guys. They got in return 1.3 WAR. One of it is from Andrew McCutchen. That's spending money horribly. That is inefficient spending, And I mean, $37.5 million should be enough to buy you something. The Pirates bought nothing.
At some point, we're going to take a break here, but why would a free agent want to even come here after what you did to Rowdy Tellez? You know,
yeah, I mean, if there's available playing time, that's all they're banking on.
All right, we're going to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls and to wrap things up coming up next.